Hey, my little babies. Hi, Candace here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of One No Smut Book Review. Every time, it just gets more and more ridiculous. It's the story of my life. I'm gonna put that on my tombstone. She just got more and more ridiculous. Yeah. Hi, my name is Candace. If you're new here, hi. I am your host. Always spazzy. Sometimes coherent. Sometimes. In today's video, kiddos, we are here to review a book that I literally just finished. When I say just finished, I mean like 20 minutes ago. I was putting on my makeup, the little bit that you see on my face, while reading. While finishing the book, I was doing this because I knew I needed to record for other stuff. So I was like, why not? I'll just finish this and I'll just, right? Okay, so, but while it's super duper fresh, and I'm doing this a lot with my hands because I'm the embodiment of the Italians that were in this book. So you're gonna see this a lot. While it's super duper fresh in my mind, we're gonna go ahead and review it because this book was fucking delicious. Okay? Okay. Let's get into it right now. Insert really good cutscene that I don't know how to do in open shot. Okay, no, it's not gonna be there, don't worry. So in today's video, we are going to be reviewing this super duper yummy looking, ta-da! It is called The Sweetest Oblivion by author Danielle. This is my first ever Danielle novel. What a way to pop my Danielle cherry, because this book was so good. I have never read anything by this author. I have seen this particular series. This is book one in a trilogy, I think. And I have seen this series on Bookstagram everywhere. It's super popular. It's been on my TBR, the TBR that doesn't exist. I say that because I think I've discussed this previously. I know people on that follow me on Instagram, they know what I'm talking about when I say this, but you guys out there in booktube land may not know this. Somebody recommends a book to me and I go, sweet, awesome, I'll add it to my TBR. There is no TBR. I'm sorry. I'm not being flighty or mean or rude or anything on purpose. My brain is just terrible. And so I can't concisely compile one master TBR list. So I have piles of books everywhere that I need to read. And that includes physical books here, as well as some in my phone that I've screenshotted, and some on my Amazon wish list, and some on a notepad in my phone, and some, and so I don't have a TBR. I just have multiple lists and piles everywhere. So what I do, the way I choose what I'm going to read next is someone recommends a book to me and I go, cool, thank you so much. And then 5 seconds later, I forget about it. Sorry. And then if that same book gets recommended to me enough, then it gets embedded into my brain like a tick. Gross comparison, I know, but you understand what I mean. And then when I'm free in between books, when I don't have anything and I'm looking for something, if it happens to pop up in that moment, then I will pick it up. I don't read, for the most part, I do not read blurbs. I go into most books blind. I don't even know what they're about. So could that possibly contribute to why sometimes books fall flat for me? Of course not. What? No way. But I don't, because I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's either going to be good or it's not going to be good. We'll see what happens, because good is subjective, and I may like it and you may hate it, and you may like it and I may hate it. It doesn't, I don't know, right? So that's why I say that I don't have a TBR. I don't remember where I was going with this. Sorry. I think the point of this tirade and this side tangent, was to say that this book has been on my non-existent TBR, or this series has, for a hot minute. Like, it's been on my radar. Let's say it like that. It hasn't been on my TBR because I don't have a TBR, but it has been on my radar for a while, as well as the author herself, Danielle. So, I don't know what possessed me to just pick it up and just choose this one today. Like, well, yesterday technically, but you know what I mean? Fate. It was the gods. They just said, Candace, you need to, you really need to just, you need to read this. This is going to be good for you. We feel like you'll like this. And they were right. So, let's get in 9 minutes in, and I've gushed and said nothing about the book. So, let's go ahead and jump into it, because I'm going to try and keep this short. So I say every time. Okay. So, this book, as well as all the books in this trilogy, are free to read with KU. If you don't know what KU is, it is Kindle Unlimited. It is a subscription service offered through Amazon. If you have a Kindle device, you can sign up for the subscription service and you will gain access to the Kindle Unlimited library. And it's basically like a virtual library where you can check out books to your Kindle device. And when you're finished with a book, you just return it and you can check out a new one. It's like $9.99 a month. And you can, I think, check out like 10-ish, I think, at a time, something like that. I don't know if that rule still applies. It's been a hot minute since I've gone over that. But anyway, I'm not getting paid by Amazon to tell you that. I'm just giving you information. Okay, so if you want to purchase this book for your Kindle, you can do so for the price of $3.99. If you want to buy this book in paperback format, and that would probably most likely be trade paperback, which are those like large-ish paperback novels, you can do that for $17.99. You can also get this book in hardcover for $23, which is actually not bad at all. Like, yeah, it's not that much more than the trade paperback. That'll probably look good on your shelf too. So let's jump into it. I didn't bring the blurb. I just realized that. Shit. Okay, so we're gonna pause this and I gotta go print out the blurb because I'm a fucking idiot. I'll be back. Okay, and I'm back because I got the blurb because I'm an idiot. Okay, so I will read you guys a blurb and then we'll try and break it down really fast and I'll give you guys my rating. I'm gonna just be and you can go. Okay, all right, cool. So the blurb for this one says, nicknamed Sweet a Belly for her docile nature, Elena, I think in the audio version they pronounced her name as Elena. I don't know if Elena. I think I would have done Elena, but that's just me. Elena smiles on cue and has a charming response for everything. She's the favored daughter, the perfect mafia princessa, or was. Now, all she can see in the mirror's reflection is blood staining her hands like crimson paint. They say first impressions are everything. In the murky waters of New York's underworld, Elena's sister is arranged to marry Nicholas Russo, a made man, a boss, a cheat, even measured against mafia standards. His reputation stretches far and wide and is darker than his black suits and ties. After his and Elena's first encounter ends with an accidental glare on her part, she realizes he's just as rude as he is handsome. She doesn't like the man or anything he stands for, though that doesn't stop her heart from pattering like rain against glass when he's near, nor the shiver that goes down her spine at the sound of his voice. And he's always near, telling her what to do, making her feel hotter than any brother. This blurb making me parched. Okay. Making her feel hotter than any future brother-in-law should. Elena may be the sweet Abelli on the outside, but she's beginning to learn she has a taste for the darkness, for rough hands, cigarettes, and whiskey-colored eyes. Having already escaped one scandal, however, she can hardly afford to be swept up in another. Besides, even if he were hers, everyone knows you don't fall in love with a made man, right? And then underneath it says, this is a standalone forbidden romance with plenty of steam and angst. Okay. The two main characters for this book are Elena Abelli, and I gotta say it with an Italian accent because she is Italian, and Nicholas Russo, also Italian. To his familiars, he is known as Nico, which I much prefer because, Nico. Okay. So, who should we begin with? Their first meeting does not go over so well. They meet at church. They're both Catholic, obviously, and she doesn't want to meet him. His reputation precedes him. He is the don of a crime syndicate, obviously, and he's not allegedly a very good guy. And so basically her younger sister, Adriana. Her younger sister, Adriana, has basically been, for lack of a better term, sold off to Nico. A contract has been signed for them to be married, like an arranged marriage, basically. So they're at church, and she's supposed to be meeting Nico for the first time at church, or seeing him, or having the pleasantries, or whatever, right? She doesn't want to, because she's like, no, I don't want to see this guy. He's got a bad rep. I don't want to. I'm just gonna avoid him. I'm gonna go out the other way, the back way. So she happens to make eye contact with him, and she gives him like stank face, and he takes it personally. And from there on out, they're like enemies, squabbling at each other, basically. So essentially, Elena is not in her family's good graces. I don't know if it's an Italian thing, if it's a mafia thing, if it's they refer to it as and this is, I don't have a lot of experience with Italian mafia. I've read a lot of Russian mafia romance, not a lot of Italian mafia romance. I've read a lot of Brata, right? But what is it, Costa Nostra? Yeah. I don't know if it's one of those things, but it's I guess it's bad form to not be a virgin if you're going to get married. So Elena, apparently under the weight and oppression of her father, who's kind of a dick, if I'm being honest, and like just the weight of her family and everything that they do and everything that they stand for, and like, yes, her mother is a very loving person, but they're like a big Italian, they're a big Italian family, and they're loud, and they're, you know what I mean, and they're mafia, so they expect a lot from their kids, and they're very strict, and there's a lot. So under that weight, Elena had a little bit of a mental snap, and she ran away. She wasn't a child, obviously. She's not a kid. So when I say ran away, I mean like she just absconded. She just like, you know what I mean? So she ditched out, and she vanished for a hot minute. She had it in her whimsical head that she would go to like the pier, like a seaside carnival type situation. She went there in the middle of winter. It was closed. There was nobody there. And as she stood there, dumbfounded, staring at the snow and whatever, a security guard came up, very attractive young man, wanting to know what she was doing there. And she was kind of aimless, kind of lost, no money, no nothing, couldn't go back home because she knew her dad would fucking flip out. So to delay the inevitable of returning home, she went home with the security guard. The security guard, who worked 3 jobs to help support his mom and his 2 sisters and help put them through college and et cetera, et cetera. He was a very good guy. And he didn't ask her name. She didn't ask his name. But she stayed with him for a little bit, and they had sex. And he made sweet love to her. And it was cute, and it was sweet, and it was whatever. And after that, her father and her uncle murdered him. And she has felt immeasurable guilt ever since. She wears a little plastic bubblegum machine ring on her hand that he gave her. And so she wears that ring as a reminder that happened to her, and that she can't ever forget that. She can't ever let herself slip ever again, because if she does, something bad will happen to someone. Does that make sense? So throughout the beginning of the book, she does eventually meet, Nico face to face in her house when he comes to discuss business with her father, or to see Adriana, or for dinner or for lunch or whatever. They have like family gatherings. His family, his cousins, that kind of thing, along with her family, they don't get along very well. There's constant like fighting, pulling guns on each other, like full-on brawl type situations. But there's a lot of angst and a lot of tension and a lot of like sexual tension, right? Every time they see each other. So Adriana is a strange character. She's very she wants to she's like an actress, but like a stage actress. Like she does like plays and things like that. She's having an affair. She's also not a virgin, but she's sleeping with the gardener. And that's been going on for quite some time, and Elena knows about it. and like frequently covers for her. But now that she's engaged to be with Nico, she's got to break that off, and she knows that, and she's pretty torn up about it because obviously she loves the gardener. So throughout the beginning of the book, there's a lot of tension between Nico and Elena. They're constantly being thrust together between each other, between the two of them. So they're out to lunch one day, and as like a big family unit, as they're making preparations for the wedding. And Adriana seems to be more distracted and more morose than ever, because obviously she doesn't want to marry Nico. Like, she doesn't want an arranged marriage, and she's in love with this gardener dude, right? But she seems more out of it. She's staring off into space and whatever. So there's a fight between an argument between a Russo and an Abelli at the table. And in the midst of this fight, there's a drive-by shooting outside. There's a drive-by shooting. Everybody get down, okay. Nico covers Elena with his body to shield her. Fuck Adriana, like, you're on your own, bitch. Sorry. When all of the dust settles and everybody stands up, Adriana opens her mouth and just goes, "I'm pregnant." Say what now? Huh? What? So, obviously, the marriage contract has been broken. Nico doesn't want her. So the dad offers Nico some territory, some of his territory as like compensation for the broken contract. And Nico briefly considers it. He wanted that territory anyway, so it's a good deal. But what he really wants is Elena. He doesn't say that out loud right away. But the father has been watching the two of their interactions every time he comes to the house, and he knows. And he started out saying, like, the father told Nico from the jump, Elena isn't fit for marriage, is the way he put it. Because he made Nico think that it was because of her past transgressions. He didn't elaborate what those transgressions were. So in Nico's mind, Nico's thinking she's been with like 100 dudes. He doesn't, at this moment, he doesn't give a shit. He sees her, he wants her. But the father is saying, no, she's not fit for marriage. She's not even on the table. You can have Adriana. And he took Adriana as like a second choice. Elena doesn't know that. Elena thinks that now she's second choice, right? So Nico doesn't say outright to the father that he wants Elena, but the father knows that that's really what he wants. And he says, you can't have her. You don't deserve her. She's too good for you. And Nico, of course, well, if you tell me I can't have something, it just makes me want it more. You broke the contract. Technically, I could fuck you up right now. And the father tells him she's already engaged, and a contract has been signed to give her to this other guy, Oscar, who's like this disgusting dude who like beats on women. And she's, oh God. And then Nico's like, oh, for real? Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, we'll discuss this again tomorrow because it's late, we're tired. We'll talk about it tomorrow. So he leaves. The next morning on the news, this guy, Oscar, turns up dead. He's been shot in the head. And you can hear, the way the author describes it is you can hear the father cursing from his office. This motherfucker. So Nico strolls back into the house, goes into the office, and is like, are you ready to sign her over to me now, basically? So he signs the contract. He gets Elena. And not only does he get her, but she's moving in with me now. Before the wedding, she's mine. I'm taking her. And she does. And he takes her. And she moves in with him. And at that point, Elena basically offers him a deal. Like, it's not blackmail. It's like she describes it as an incentive. Please don't kill my sister's baby daddy. Don't let my dad kill my sister's baby daddy. And in return, I'll let you do any filthy things you want to my body before the wedding. Like, I'll take my clothes off you anytime you want. Deal? And he's like, he wants her so badly, and he's like, okay. I'm still gonna fuck him up though. I'm gonna beat his ass, but I won't kill him. And she's just like, okay, all right, fine. So, yeah, so then, okay, that's when the good shit starts. That's when the really good shit starts. So now she's living with him, and they start their real relationship of legit spending time together. She starts off having this weird thing, which I got like a Pretty Woman flashback of like no kissing on the mouth. She thinks it's like too intimate, so she refuses to do it with him in the beginning. And it bothers him. He wants it, and it upsets him, but he doesn't like force the issue. He just lets it stew inside him like a ball of fire. So they start their relationship. He's very controlling. And I think outside of any other trope, it would get on my nerves. Obviously, within the mafia trope, it's perfectly fine because that's what they do, right? Like, you're a mafia man, you control your woman, you're very possessive, you're very alpha, you're very domineering, right? So he won't let her leave the house without telling him. He always has a guard on her. He always has, like, you know what I'm saying? So over the course of the time that she's living there, up to the date of their wedding, they start to fall for each other. You can see, like, every time he comes home, every time they're intimate, the second time they have sex, like actual sex, he like accidentally kisses her on the mouth. Okay, so I'm gonna get into some little dirty deeds here. So they start to have sex, and he goes in like way hard, and she's like, ow, I'm sore from yesterday. And he's like, oh my God, baby, I'm so sorry. And he like reaches up and like brushes his lips against hers, like really softly, or like her top lip, and she like freezes up. And then he freezes up because he realizes what he's done. And then like she kisses him back. And that's like the beginning of the kissing, when the kissing starts. But the moment is like so like, and I was just like, give me more. So, yeah, okay. So after that, the kissing is on the table. And that becomes like a big part of everything for me. Anyway, for me. That's just for me. I don't know about y'all. I don't know what y'all be into, but that was for me. That was good. That was a big thing. So around that same time, there's like this big blow up between their two families, and Nico decides that he does not want to wait. He's afraid that her father is going to try and basically like yoke her back away from him. So he doesn't want to wait the 2 weeks or the week or whatever it is until the wedding. He wants to make her Russo like right now. So he's like, he doesn't tell her until the next morning that, hey, by the way, we're going to the courthouse tomorrow and we're gonna get married. I've already gotten like the license and everything, and you don't have a choice, we're gonna go. So she comes downstairs the next morning and he's like standing there in like his suit and everything, and he's standing in this dress. There's like a dress there, not her wedding dress, but like a little dress, like a little white dress, and he's just like, let's go. And at first she's like, what? No. Throughout the entire book, this ring, the plastic ring, is plaguing him. He doesn't know, he knows it has something to do with a man. He doesn't know that it has to do with a singular man who's dead. He thinks that it has to do with a living man whom she's in love with. He also thinks that prior to getting with him, she has gotten around. So he has like this misconception of her that she's either going to leave him for another guy or that she's going to cheat on him with multiple people or whatever, that she can't be faithful. So he's trying to lock her down like as much as possible. So he forces her to the courthouse. They get married. When they're doing the ceremony, she has to remove the ring to put on his ring. She puts it on her other hand. So like that's another moment for him where he's like, Every time she like takes the ring off to do something with him, she'll take the ring off, but then she puts the ring back on, and that is like it's stuck in his craw. Like he gets pissed. So it's like sticking with him, and he's getting angrier and angrier, and he's seething inside. Right? Finally, things reach a breaking point. They have both gotten to the point where, and this is another thing that gets me, and I've talked about this in previous videos. I fucking love books where the guy falls first. Don't ask me why. I can't explain it. It just gets me. Like, saying I love you first, yes, I love that. But knowing it, when it explains that the guy is the one that knows he's in love first and then sets out to make the woman fall in love with him, oh God, give me all of that. I want that. Give it to me. This is one of those. Another girl, the main female character for book 2 in this series is in this book. And she tells him in the beginning, you're gonna fall in love with her and she's not gonna love you back. And that keeps replaying in his head throughout this book. And at one point, he realizes that, and he thinks to himself, fuck, she's right. Because I am in love with her, and she's not gonna love me back. Or she doesn't love me back. And when that moment happened, my heart literally exploded. And I was like, fuck, I love this book. That was the moment. And I was like, all right, that's it. I'm done. That's all I needed. I'm finished. In the book right there, I'm done. So, so at some point, they reach a breaking point where they both realize they're in love with each other. She can't be fully committed to him until she lets go of her past. And that is the guilt that she feels over this guy that she got killed and his family. So even knowing she's taking his money to do it, she devises a plan where she's going to wait until her guard is distracted and Nico is distracted. And she slips out of the house. She takes his bank information. She sneaks out of the house. She goes to her uncle's restaurant, uses his computer to transfer $2 million of Nico's money from his bank account to her bank account. And then she goes to the bank and she tries to withdraw the money. They'll only give her, I think, like $50,000 up front, and they give her the rest in a cashier's check. She's already pre-written a letter to the guy's mother. She takes off the plastic ring. She puts it all in a bag. She's on her way to the guy's mom's house. She runs into this guy, Sebastian, who was like an Oscar replacement. When Nico killed this Oscar guy, somebody else stepped up. It was like a relative of his. I can't remember if it's his brother or his cousin or whatever, but it's the guy that Nico's now doing business with in Oscar's place. They run into each other at the bank, and he basically follows her and is like, you're out here by yourself. What are you doing out here by yourself? And she tries to bluff him off, and he's like, I should call Nico. And she's like, please don't. I have to see, I'm doing something. And he's like, let me, I'll come with you, or I'll call Nico. And she's like, fuck, all right, just come with me then. So when Nico realizes she's missing, he doesn't realize that she's missing until he gets a phone call from the bank to confirm some suspicious activity on his account. So when he gets that phone call and then he goes inside and realizes she's not there, he thinks that she's run from him, and he loses his shit. Full blown, like, destroys the apartment. He calls his friend Christian, who works for the FBI, which I can't get a read on him. Like, is he a crooked cop? Is he like, I don't know, but he's the main male character for book 2. So I'm really interested in seeing what that's about. He calls him and he's like, find my wife. Christian's like, oh fuck, give me an hour. Click. Okay. So he's seething. Christian calls him back an hour later and is like, I found her. You're not going to like it because she's not alone. So Nico finds her sitting outside of this place, this house, where she's dropped the bag off, watched the mother come and find it, read the letter, start crying, obviously, find the money inside, and take it inside the house. Nico shows up, basically threatens to kill the other dude, forces her into the car, and then drives away in silence. She tries to talk to him. He doesn't want to hear it. He's like, no, I can't. I don't want to hear it. Instead of taking her home, he takes her to his penthouse apartment, which is where he used to take, like, I guess all of his hoes, and where he had planned to originally take Adriana. So with Elena, when he married her, he knew it was different. So he brought her straight to his actual home. Now, instead of taking her home, he brings her to the penthouse and he drops her off. And without letting her explain anything, even though she several times attempts to plead with him, let me tell you what happened, let me explain. He shuts her down. He doesn't want to hear it. He drops her off with a bag and says, so-and-so will be outside if you need anything. And he leaves her there. And she falls apart. Like, legit, just falls apart. And she cries hysterically in the apartment, in the foyer, in the bedroom, in the shower, in bed, until eventually she cries herself to sleep. She wakes up in the middle of the night, freaks out for a second because she realizes that she's not alone. He's there, and he's sitting on the side of the bed. And he basically says, start at the beginning and tell me everything. And she says, like, start from today or from, and he says, start from when you ran away from your father. And so she knows that he's giving her a chance to tell him everything. So she does. She tells him everything. And he forgives her. And he's like, he still needles her about it, about the fact that you stole my money and gave them my money. But he's not mad anymore. And they're okay. And my heart was just like, oh. And after that, they have their bachelor and bachelorette parties, and then they get married, and then they say the official I love yous to each other. Dear. And it was legit, like, so, and Adriana is getting to marry her gardener, whether he likes it or not, because tough titty boy, you got yourself into this situation. And they lived happily ever after. The end. So, for the rating for this book, I gave it a 9.5. I fucking loved this book. I was obsessed. Nico, as a character, like, I love alpha possessive males. I love broody males. I love domineering, like, like, that's my jam. And he was like all of that. But I also love, like, that hint of, like, vulnerability and, like, just the trace of sadness and the trace of, like, God, he just had everything. He literally had everything. And just, aside from the fact that he smoked cigarettes, I could have done without that. That wasn't really a thing for me. It wasn't a turn off, but it wasn't a turn on either. You know what I'm saying? But he's a mafioso, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. But I gave it a 9.5. I can't wait to read book 2 because everyone is telling me that they love book 2 better than book 1. I don't know about that. I don't know because, like I said, we've already met. If you've read book 1, we've already met both characters that are in book 2, the both main characters. And I don't know if Christian can beat out Nico because Nico was like, I don't know. Anyway, 9.5. Would I recommend this book to other people? Yeah. Will I? Yeah. Will I read more of Danielle's stuff? Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Faux show. Right now, faux show. Yeah. I think that's it, kiddos. I'm pretty much done. 4 hours later. I thank you guys so much for sticking with me for another video. I really appreciate it. If you like me, if you enjoyed this video, if you like my channel, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. If you do subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications when I upload a new video. I upload videos every Thursday, generally speaking, in the roughest sense of the word. If you would like, you can follow me on social media. I do have a, what did I say, social media? You can follow me on social media. You can follow me on social media. I do have a members only Facebook group, an Instagram, and a Twitter that I forget exists. I haven't posted to my Twitter in, a long time. I am, however, on Instagram long enough that it's taken up literally all the storage on my phone. Often enough, should I say, that it's taken up all the storage on my phone. So, follow me on Instagram. Come chat with me. Come hang out. Yeah, I will link everything in the description box below, and I'll put a little banner here on the screen for you guys to see. I really appreciate you watching and sticking with me for another video on my babbling and all up in the space. And I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. I don't know what we'll be reviewing, but we'll see. Will it be a review? I don't know. Will it be a bullshit video? Probably. There's bullshit in every video, all right? Yeah. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye. That was scary. Let's try that again. Bye. Too much. Okay. All right. Let's get going because I am so fucking hyped. I literally just finished this book. Can you see all of the fucking floaties around me? Can you see them? It's driving me nuts. Literally. It's like little bits of rabbit fluff everywhere. Okay, so let's get into it because I'm so excited. Okay. Okay, let's go. Fix my sleeves, fix my hair, fuck around with my hair again, take a sip of tea. Got my cup. Do you believe in money? Every time now with the fucking cup. Okay. I'm so dry. Okay. The fucking fluffs. Okay. This is my first ever Danielle Lori novel. Danielle Lori novel. You can also get this book her dad found her, and her father and her uncle but he didn't elaborate what those transgressions bye creepo. Okay, so that's done. Done. I didn't want to say goodbye to you, Nico, but I have to, because if I don't, there won't be any space left in my brain for anyone else. And I gotta keep space open for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I gotta freshen up my lipstick because it's starting to get kind of dry and gross. All right. Every single thing, I swear to God, everything that could have annoyed me while recording today has annoyed me. Everything, literally. Phone calls, texts. The only person who hasn't annoyed me is my mother, which is amazing because generally she annoys me the most when I'm trying to record. Phone calls, texts, Charlotte, Freckles, the rabbit, the thing that I'm always looking off over here, glaring at, the rabbit. My camera fell over, that happened. Storage issues, that happened. Yeah, so I'm gonna go. I have to go feed her. I'll see you guys later. Too much flailing going on around this place. I gotta go. Okay. I'll see you on Instagram. I'll see you on Bookstagram. Clickety click, 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 click.